signal that Nigeria-UK relationships, even after Mr. President, should continue to wax in the way it has been.
Then Buhari joins other world leaders in the United Kingdom, strategizes with delegation in readiness for coronation of Charles III as king.
Situation at Aswan would have been much better than we are in now, because we had plans, we have planes that are there waiting.
Second batch of additional 130 Nigerians evacuated from Sudan arrives Abuja. UK court in a landmark judgment jails former Deputy Senate President Ekweremadu, wife and doctor. Hello and welcome to the Network News on NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Adjola Komiakere joins me from Lagos. You can start clicking now, follow us live on our website nt.ng/live, NT News Now, as well as other social media handles displayed on the screen. President Muhammadu Buhari says the successful conduct of the just concluded 2023 elections has clearly demonstrated that Nigeria has taken another step towards deepening democracy. Addressing his colleagues at the Commonwealth Leaders Summit in London, the president takes pride in the fact that the elections were peaceful, transparent and credible. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo brings us details.
The Commonwealth Leaders Summit, held as part of the major events leading to the coronation of the British monarch King Charles III, focused on the Commonwealth and the role of the youth. President Muhammadu Buhari told the summit that the last elections, which saw a remarkable turnout of voters, is a proof that Nigeria's democracy is maturing. He said despite some pockets of violence, Nigerians have demonstrated that a government can be elected peacefully and fairly. The president explained that with the lessons learned, the country is more than ever committed to working towards a greater participation of all Nigerians in the democratic process, including those in the diaspora. While thanking the Commonwealth for sending a team to witness the conduct of the elections, President Buhari highlighted the key role the Nigerian youth played during the exercise, as well as in support of national development. He announced that Nigeria will host the Commonwealth Youth and Students Summit for African region later this month, with the theme Making Change Happen. The president, who is attending the summit for the last time as head of state, used the opportunity to bid farewell to his colleagues, expressing joy at shared aspirations and values within the period. From London, Adamu Sambo, NTA.
Now all is set for the coronation of King Charles III and his wife Camilla as the king and the queen consort of the United Kingdom on Saturday. President Muhammadu Buhari, who is already in London for the historic ceremony, has held a strategic meeting with key members of his delegation. Once again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo brings us details.
London, the British capital, is wearing a new look as millions of people across the United Kingdom and beyond prepare for the symbolic coronation ceremony of the 40th reigning monarch since 1066. President Muhammadu Buhari will go down in history as the first Nigerian leader since independence to ever witness the coronation of the king and queen consort of the United Kingdom. This meeting was therefore convened by the president to strategize on ways and means of achieving a successful outing by Nigeria as an important member of the Commonwealth of Nations.
I think it's another feather to President Muhammadu Buhari's cap. He is a man of destiny. I'm not too sure that in modern Nigerian history any president has actually witnessed a coronation. So I think it's a pride for Nigeria, a pride for all of us that we are being invited to witness this coronation.
And then, also the relationship between our two countries at the bilateral level has really been strengthened under Mr. President's mandate. And as he's also leaving in 3 weeks, it's also important for him to be here. And it's a good signal that Nigeria-UK relationships, even after Mr. President, should continue to wax in the way it has been.
It's historical. that we're all witnesses to this very important and auspicious occasion. For most Nigerians, Queen Elizabeth was the only monarch they knew. So it's a renewal of the bond of relationship between Nigeria and the United Kingdom.
Like our president said one time recently, if most Nigerians don't have a second home in Britain, they don't feel that they are accomplished. That's wealthy Nigerians. So Nigeria and Britain are that close. Trade relationship between us is very strong. Therefore, with that background, if a new monarch is being installed, it's just very important that Nigeria be there.
During the elaborate ceremony, popularly referred to as Day of Splendor and Formality, customs dating back to more than 1,000 years will be showcased. To members of the Nigerian delegation, the memorable, historic and significant event is better seen than imagined.
This may not happen in our lifetime again.
While in London, President Buhari is expected to bid farewell to some of his counterparts present as he prepares to hand over power to the next administration in a couple of weeks. From London, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, preparations for the coronation of King Charles III in and around the Buckingham Palace and the UK are in top gear. But, unlike his late mother's mode of ascension, so many changes have been made, and this, among other things, include the crown, deployment of guards and security. Charles Alpha reports.
About 400 Commonwealth nations representatives are in the UK rehearsing for the coronation ceremony. More than 29 police officers will take part in one of UK's most significant security operations for the coronation of King Charles III, while people are already preparing their space for the event.
Well, in my lifetime, how many times am I going to see a king being crowned? Trying to brighten the mood and trying to do my part.
To meet and work with the other Commonwealth nations. All the troops have had fantastic times. We've been swapping patches and coins and collecting memorabilia from each other. So everybody's been loving the opportunity to integrate.
The relationship between Kenya and the United Kingdom has been so nice, and so is the coronation of the king. And this time it is quite okay for us as Kenyans, and it has that significance in it.
The ceremony will undergo some alterations to represent multiple faith, cultures and communities across the United Kingdom. Britain's 17th century St. Edward's crown, the centerpiece of the crown jewel, has been removed from display to be altered for the coronation of King Charles III. The solid gold crown, encrusted with rubies, amethysts, sapphires, garnets, topazes and tourmalines, will undergo modification work for Charles III's coronation at Westminster Abbey. 2,000 diamonds. The original had been melted down by parliamentarians after the execution. Charles III will only wear it at the moment he is crowned. The more modern imperial state crown, but compared with previous coronations, King Charles III's coronation will be shorter than his mother's coronation in 1953. The ceremony will begin with the anointing of Charles, symbolizing his spiritual entry into kingship, and then his crowning and enthronement, representing his assumption of temporal powers and responsibilities. Camilla will be crowned in a shorter and simpler ceremony. The royal family will travel to Buckingham Palace afterward in a state procession and appear on the balcony to celebrate the occasion. This will be the first coronation of a British monarch in the 21st century and the 40th to be held at Westminster Abbey since 1066. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Thank you, Charles, for that information. Away from the coronation, in what could be described as a landmark judgment, the UK Crown Court has sentenced the former Deputy Senate President, Ekweremadu, to 9 years, 8 months in prison. Ekweremadu, his wife, and a medical doctor were jailed for their involvement in organ harvesting. Delia Tumbi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
27th of March 2023, the former Deputy Senate President Ekweremadu, his wife Beatrice, and a medical doctor Obina Obeta were convicted for organ harvesting. The convicts were found culpable by the London's Old Bailey Criminal Court of conspiring to traffic the young street trader into Britain for his body parts. In Great Britain, it is legal to donate a kidney, but it becomes criminal if money or another material advantage is rewarded. Ekweremadu, his wife, and Obina Obeta were arrested on June 23, 2022 following a complaint from the Lagos street boy brought into London to donate one of his organs to Sonia, the daughter of the Ekweremadus. The convicts were arraigned under the UK's 2015 Modern Slavery Act. Having been found guilty under the Act, the presiding judge, Justice Jeremy Johnson, sentenced Ekweremadu to 9 years and 8 months. His wife, Beatrice, was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months imprisonment, while Obeta received a 10-year prison term. Justice Johnson told defendants, in each of your cases, the offense you committed is serious, that neither a fine nor a community sentence can be justified.
After taking account of the aggravating and mitigating factors in your case, I impose a sentence of 9 years and 8 months imprisonment. Subject to allowing for the time which you have spent remanded in custody, you will serve 2/3 of the sentence in custody and will be on licence thereafter for the rest of the sentence.
The case marked the first time defendants have been convicted under the Modern Slavery Act of an organ harvesting conspiracy. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA.
Following the sentencing of the former Deputy Senate President Ekweremadu by the United Kingdom Crown Court for his involvement in organ trafficking, legal practitioners in Nigeria have been reacting to the development. Olabode Arewa captures some of their thoughts.
Organ harvesting is the illegal practice of surgically removing a victim's organs against their will. Senator Ekweremadu, his wife Beatrice, and a certain doctor, Obina Obeta, were sentenced to different terms of imprisonment under the Modern Slavery Act of 2015 of the United Kingdom. The victim in this instance was brought to the UK so as to donate his kidney to the daughter of Ekweremadu, Sonia, but a prior medical examination recorded a mismatch with Sonia's kidney. Analysts believe that there are lessons to be learned from the whole saga.
No person wishes another man bad, but this one is a confirmation that in England the law is not a respecter of any person.
And this is to let us know that where there is a rule of law, no matter how highly placed, you cannot influence the system. Of course, they have the right of appeal.
While several leading political figures pleaded with UK authorities to temper justice with mercy, legal practitioners believe that the proceedings show jurisdictional differences between Nigeria and the UK legal systems. Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Now to the Sudan crisis. The Nigerian government has evacuated additional 130 nationals from Port Sudan. The evacuees, which comprise 128 women, children and male adults, arrived Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Friday afternoon. Musa Babalio reports.
Fatima Sadiq is among the children evacuated from Sudan. She came to the world few days before the war started in Sudan. Her mother, Zainab Sadiq Sadiq, left Zamfara and joined her husband in Khartoum. Zainab said having an infant amidst war is not only disturbing but traumatizing. Sumaya Yusuf, from Oyo State but a resident of Qatar, is among the returnees.
Even if the war really does finishes now, anything can happen in the future, so I wouldn't really want to risk going back again. If things go as planned, we'll go back to our studies, inshallah.
There are more than 1,000 Nigerians awaiting airlift in Port Sudan and Aswan in Egypt.
Situation at Aswan would have been much better than we are in now, but some of the Nigerian travelers' behavior was not appropriate. They mixed up the process, and the Egyptian team now delayed the process completely.
Everybody has been moved out of Sudan safely. We have those at Port Sudan, and we have those at Egyptian side heading towards Aswan.
Little Fatima Sadiq and other children alongside their parents are now on their ways home to reunite with their families. From Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
While the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs is appalled by the bitter political rivalry that has transformed into bloody military conflict in Sudan. In a statement, the President General of the Council and the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Mohammed Saad Abubakar, says the conflict has brought devastation on civilians, especially the loss of hundreds of lives and critical Sudanese infrastructure, with thousands replaced. The Council notes that the gladiators in the conflict cannot resolve their differences, flexing their military muscles at the expense of innocent civilians. The Council calls on the United Nations and the African Union to immediately send in the peacekeeping forces to restore peace. While thanking the Nigerian government for evacuation of stranded Nigerians, the Council urges it to expedite action to bring home thousands of Nigerians remaining who are stranded in the troubled zone. It prayed Almighty Allah to protect all, especially those caught up in the conflicts. The ongoing armed conflict in Sudan has made it difficult for patients to access medical facilities, putting the country's health system on the brink of collapse. Adebola Buxton Sunday brings us details.
Sudanese Ministry of Health says domestic hospitals are now working at less than 20% of their capacity after 3 weeks since fighting erupted between Sudan's army and the paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces. Patients of chronic kidney disease, for instance, are facing an uncertain future over challenges such as electricity outages.
I'm lucky that I have a car at least to come to the centre. We're living a catastrophic situation and we don't know what will happen tomorrow. Most of the patients here are very exhausted and I can't bear the situation anymore.
Another health threat is critical shortage of basic goods including water, food and fuel arising from the conflict which have killed more than 500 people.
I live in Kober and I go to the center in Daroshab about 30 kilometers away every day. The Rapid Support Forces stop me every day at checkpoints, and last time they accused my son of being part of the military. We are ordinary people and all we want is to live and get health care.
The World Health Organization describes the situation as catastrophic and warns of their consequences for the sick if the clashes persists. Country Director of Care International in Sudan, David McDonald, said support is needed to address short and long-term humanitarian crises.
We need to be ensuring that we've got safe access to communities for humanitarian assistance, and we need to make sure that we've got corridors and financial means to be delivering that assistance to some of the most vulnerable populations in the world at this time.
United Nations said more than 100,000 refugees have crossed from Sudan to neighboring countries to escape fierce fighting, while hundreds of thousands have been displaced within the country. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
Grey areas in the just concluded UTME examination, JAMB boss clarifies. Details when we return. To stay with us.
Ask me what I want to be. I want to be a Lincoln. I want to be an historian whose mind must be clear, whose goal must be sharp, whose destination must be focused upon for developmental program. And once the foundation is right, Nigeria recovery It's on your doorstep.
It's your turn. Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. Your turn.
Bigger is always better with Glow Data. Dial *777# to buy a data plan today and enjoy more data volume at the same old price.
Let me see your bill. What is this in your bill?
Oh, that. It's gift ship fully paid. Are you an enrollee? I mean, are you registered under the group individual family social health insurance program? Gift ship.
Gift ship. What is gift ship? Tell me about it.
GiftShip is a group individual and family social health insurance program. Now, the health insurance is mandatory for every Nigerian. GiftShip allows artisans, traders, farmers, mechanics, business owners, taxi drivers, even keke riders benefit from a range of medical surgeries, medical tests, scans at any preferred NHIA accredited hospital in Nigeria. To enroll, an individual contributes only 45,000 naira per annum. For a family of 3, 45,000 naira per annum. Group of 10 persons and above, 15,000 naira a person per annum. This amount is renewable every year.
GiftShip moves, leaving no one behind.
Let's go, better than 5 minutes.
You're always so active.
And the prayer, please? It's so delicious. And it's free.
Yes, buy one fresh roll and get one pack of delicious Pure Bliss biscuits free.
Are you a dealer in cars, jewelry, precious metals and stones and luxury goods? Are you into real estate, or are you an estate agent, surveyor, valuer, developer or broker? Are you into the hospitality industry, lottery business, or are you a mortgage broker, tax consultant, or an accountant? Do you have a supermarket, police betting and consulting or construction company? If you have, go and obtain your certification from the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, SCML, and be free to do your business within the ambits of the law. SCML has the responsibility to monitor, supervise, and regulate the activities of designated non-financial business and professions, DNFBPs, across the country. Please note that the SCML certificate is not a guarantee of legitimacy of any business. To register, visit www.scml.org. For collection of certificate, visit any EFCC office nearest to you. Remember, registration is free.
SCML, securing Nigeria's business environment. This message is from Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
You're still watching the network news on NTA. In order to promote and secure victory for the kind of candidates they want in elective public positions, informed young Nigerians must reach out to further to connect and build bridges with their colleagues in semi-urban and rural areas who are not as privileged and exposed. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who expressed this view while interacting with some young Nigerians under the auspices of the Global Shapers Community Abuja Hub, says connecting with their colleagues will be useful in fixing the missing link in youth participation in Nigerian politics. The Vice President also noted that corruption is the country's greatest challenge and should be dealt with. On the most impactful lesson of the past few years, Vice President Osinbajo said it has been putting people at the center of policy. The Global Shapers Community is an initiative of the World Economic Forum with chapters spread across different countries. Now let's shift attention to education. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAM) has released results of its 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, in which more than 1.5 million candidates registered and sat for the examination from across the country. Olayinka Ojo reports.
During the mock examinations, the exercise had few niches at some centers, and that prompted JAM to reschedule the examination for centers that had glitches.
For those things we wanted to test, we have seen what they were, and we went back and made sure everything worked, and it's working.
The time then came to fully put these innovations by JAMB from biometrics to the examination proper to tests.
No problem, no worries at all. I finished successfully.
The only difference is that the mock examination we didn't start on time, but the main examination was there on time.
The examination was okay and I finished before time.
Even though at most of the centers across the nation, the conduct of the exercise was seamless, some other centers had hitches.
On the first day, there were some candidates that were not able to sit the examination because of some technical issues, and we have rescheduled those candidates.
Another peculiarity to the examination is absenteeism and late coming by some candidates.
The high level of absenteeism, for instance, in a center where you're having 200 candidates, you're having as high as 22 absenteeism. I really don't know what is causing it.
Before now, the examination for special candidates was only restricted to the visually impaired. But this year's exercise captured candidates with special needs, such as those with Down syndrome and albinism. A total of 708 computer-based test centers participated at this year's UTME examination. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Joining us for clarity on some gray areas regarding the just concluded 2023 UTME is the JAMB Registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede. Prof, thank you so much for joining us on the Network News.
Thank you very much.
All right, what is your opinion of the just concluded examination involving more than 1.5 million candidates? Quite a huge number.
Yes, it has been so far so good. We have released the results and the performance is fair, and we are rescheduling those who are to take the mop-up examination tomorrow. Those are those who have one each or the other during the main examination, and we are hopeful that we'll be able to wrap this up before the commencement of the West African examination school certificate. So which starts on the 8th. So we intend to wrap up tomorrow and see if there is need to really mop up further. That will have to be done later.
Interesting. We understand that there were issues of parents interfering with the process, as well as candidates claiming that they wrote the exams twice and have been asked to come over to Abuja to rewrite the same examination. What is the true position, Prof?
Yes, as for students who had itches and they had to rewrite, we believe we are doing the right thing, because some of the itches are due to the making of the students or the centers. But wherever we believe that it's equitable to ask candidates to rewrite their examination, we ask them to do so. As regards the involvement of schools, involvement of parents, we have continued to say that an appeal to the parents to avoid interference in the process. But during this exercise, the interference is more from schools, particularly some elite private schools. They interfered so much with the process in order to gain monetary advantage from in the name of JAMB, or in order to promote their schools and present their schools as if they were the best in the country, and therefore to attract for marketing purposes. We are communicating. People should realize that UTME is not a school-based examination. Unlike NECO examination, some NECO examination or WAEC examinations, it's not a school-based. Ours is based on direct contact with the students, and we have established 4 means of communicating with the students. With the students, we have their profile. Every candidate has a profile that can be checked for information. In addition to that, we have tests. We send text messages. That's why they have unique telephone number. We send text messages to them to be able to get information directly from us. We also have the email of the candidates that we have. When we need to pass information to them, we pass to them. We also have the short code 55019 or 56619. Unfortunately, some of these private schools prevent the candidates from access. They seize their phone. They do not allow them access to the email. They do not allow them access to the code. Within Friday, today is Friday. Yes. Between Wednesday and today, we have so many cases. We have a case of many cases in Lagos where I don't want to be mentioning schools so that they don't think we are demarcating them. Where the candidates were expected to write the exam at night, and they were brought by these so-called private schools to the center at 6:30. But this candidate was sitting down there. Many of them were sitting outside until 3 p.m. After 3, they now went to the examination hall, and they said, we are supposed to be 9. Said, my principal told me my exam is 9. Okay, look at the paper with you. My principal says 3, and the boy was waiting. The same thing happened in Ilorin. The same thing in Abuja. There are some early schools in Abuja here holding the access, depriving the candidate the access to the text messages sent to them, and they will turn around and say, look, we are appealing to these schools.
All right, Prof, I think I'll have to come in here because I need you to actually deal on this issue. Actually, my last question borders on the fate of graduates of the University of Abuja, where we understand that there are issues with admissions outside JAM, and this will affect the eventual mobilization by NYSC upon graduation.
Yes.
We need clarity.
I believe that things should be done properly. If any university admits candidates illegally, and these candidates cannot go on NYSC, that's not JAM's problem because they were never processed to JAM. Okay. If, however, any institution, not necessarily University of Abuja, we are aware that there were over 1 million candidates involved. Yes. And all we have been trying to do is to see how many of them we can rescue. So we will continue with the exercise as soon as they are processed, but what we insist on is that no matter how long it has taken any institution to have admitted them illegally, when we want to regularize or normalize the abnormality, they must go through the process. That is, they must possess the qualification they were expected to possess at the point of entry. Because those people who are illegally admitted, they were admitted because they could not meet the requirements. Okay. And this is depriving others who are equally qualified to be admitted. And we are also urging the candidates for tomorrow to please go and check and recheck all their text messages, their email, because the wrap-up examination is tomorrow. Every candidate who is expected to take wrap-up examination had already been scheduled for the examination tomorrow. Excuses of, I'm late because of my principal, we are not school-based. So we have no business with any principal. Those principals who are extorting the candidates and making them late, taking them to the examination center late. Of course, they will have to be blamed for whatever happened to the students.
All right, so what's the fate of those writing tomorrow?
What is
their fate?
The fate is those who are late. Those who are late tomorrow.
Yes.
If they are late, their fate is determined by them. Why should they be late? I believe that if they are late, they know the consequence of being late. For example, if you say get to the examination center at 6:30 it does not mean we are starting at 6:30. We say get to the examination at 9. It doesn't mean we are starting at 9. But some parents will bring their children to the center at 9, and by 11 they start saying, oh, it's 2 hours. At 11 o'clock they are just about starting, because by being there at 9 they will go through some processes.
Of course.
And some will bring their and they say 3 hours, 4 hours. The examination is for 2 hours. But it doesn't mean that your child will go in and come out 2 hours after commencement. The examination has not even started at all. So the issue is that anybody who comes late, of course we have over 7,000 who came late during the main examination, and none of them, except where there are extraneous factors, none of them will be rescheduled.
Okay. Professor Ishaq Oloride, JAMB Registrar, we want to thank you so much for joining us on the news. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on, the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has invited the Chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Director General, Department of State Services, and Head of the Civil Service of the Federation over issues surrounding the appointment of the new Auditor General of the Federation. National Assembly Correspondent Dayo Mushola has details.
The Director Audit, overseeing the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation, is before the House Committee on Public Accounts to speak to non-rendition of annual reports of 3 years before the National Assembly.
Even without the Director General's report, the actors who run the ministry, some of them are retired, but some of them have even died. So how would you, of what value is the report?
Armed with one of the drafts for the years in question, the director says he does not have the power to sign such reports.
Because I'm Director of Audit overseeing. But if I'm giving my acting letter as the Acting Auditor General for the Federation, I'll be able to sign and submit to you.
Other issue considered by the committee was the alleged fake security clearance reports trailing the appointment of a substantive Auditor General.
We did accreditation. After the accreditation, all those that had passed through the accreditation process were now sent to the security agencies for the screening.
That the chairman availed us all these security reports and other relative documents in tandem with his presentation I so second.
So our ruling on that is that the DGSSS, EFCC, ICPC, they should come here and tender their report and tell us due to end of service and SGF.
The committee is to reconvene next week. From the National Assembly, Dayo Gunshola, NTA News.
13 years after the demise of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, his legacies still speak of his patriotic and selfless leadership style. On the 5th of May 2010, Nigerians lost a leader many described as a peacemaker who governed the country with sincerity of purpose and passion. Late Yar'Adua's strides in public life, many say, will continue to keep his memory alive. Beyond his commendable legacy on electoral reforms, Yar'Adua is believed to have had a pan-Nigerian outlook in his time, a system where nobody was left out. His implementation of the Niger Delta Amnesty Program is a testimony. Yar'Adua's tenure remains a center of reference for other administrations and democracy in Nigeria, especially on the issue of the rule of law and politics, his associates say. Similarly, the People's Democratic Party, former President Goodluck Jonathan and Vice President Atiku Sarki, among others, eulogized Yar'Adua 13 years after. And President Muhammad Buhari approves the renewal of the term of office for the Chairman, Board of Trustees of the Nigeria Police Trust Fund, Sulaiman Abba, for another 3-year term. A statement by the Ministry of Police Affairs indicates that the renewal of the appointment, which takes effect from 19th of May 2023, includes that of the Executive Secretary and members of the Board. This is in pursuant of the NPTF Establishment Act 2019, a remarkable performance of the board. President Muhammadu Buhari sends birthday wishes to the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Bakolalong, as he turns 60. President Buhari in a statement expresses gratitude for the immense affection shown to him by the governor and the people of Plateau State. He applauds Governor Lalong for the work he has done since taking oath, noting that it reflects his effectiveness as a leader, especially on matters of security and well-being of the people. While wishing him many happy years ahead, President Buhari urges Governor Lalong to continue to bring convenience and respect to the people of his state. And the Nigerian leader congratulates Felix Onwa, one of the longest serving State House correspondents, on his 60th birthday. Onwa was first assigned to cover the State House in 1991 and has since continued on the job for several media organizations. In a congratulatory message, the President commends the veteran State House correspondent for maintaining high standard of journalism over the years through objective and informed reportage free from any political interference. President Buhari joins family, friends, colleagues and members of the State House Press Corps in wishing the veteran journalist with 36 years of experience more prosperous years in good health. It is time to join Adiola in Lagos for more reports. Adiola.
Thank you, Elizabeth. In sustaining its aggressive approach to smuggling operations within its area of responsibility, the Federal Operations Unit Zone A of the Nigeria Customs Service is strengthening prosecution against offenders. This move is yielding results as the unit says 8 convictions have been secured within the last 10 months. Michael Olaleye reports.
Another opportunity to remind Nigerians that smuggling is not a business but a crime. One major worry to the officers of the Federal Operations Unit Zone A is the preference of majority of the citizens for anything foreign. A clear case is the importation of these 10 bales of used clothing. In fact, the consignment also houses packs of straw.
Used straw, for crying out loud. We have it in Nigeria.
The customs has been hard on illegal importation, clearly reflected not only in accrued revenue, but number of arrests and convictions.
The unit through the Federal High Court had secured 8 convictions during the last 10 months, while 48 different cases are at various stages of prosecution. Interestingly, the outcome of our unrelenting onslaught against smuggling is the remarkable drop evident in the number of seizures recorded with 0 casualties.
Although there is a drastic drop in the smuggling of other items, but not in the number of bags of rice, as more than 8,000, equivalent of 14 trailers, were intercepted within a month.
It is when you consume what you are producing, you will be able to export and earn more. Then those that are in Nigeria, there will be more employment.
The Federal Operations Unit Zone A says its tagline against smuggling activities remains unchanged, as perpetrators risk losing investments and facing prosecution. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
The use of technology in health facilities for doctor-patient communication, medical examination, and patient record keeping is helping to reduce preventable deaths. In this report, Hingino John Adams x-rays the impact of technology on patient management.
The world has moved from the industrial to information age. As it transitions to the imagination era, the use of technology becomes indispensable. The health sector is also moving with the trend. For instance, when the coronavirus pandemic hit the world, leading to reduction of doctor-patient physical contact, technology saved the situation.
Patients for some ailments don't need to come directly to the hospitals to see their clinicians. The telemedicine technician can provide basic consultation.
Since the human being is a whole bunch of data, the use of technology for protection, management and privacy of patients' information is key, as it will address the problem of missing patients' medical history, which may lead to misdiagnosis, thereby causing complications or even death.
It helps clinicians be able to timely attend to their patients and also be guided by so much of artificial intelligence, so we ensure that clinicians are actually clocking the right diagnosis that the patient is actually going through.
Electronics health records system is good to harness all patient information in a database, which can enhance quick access of patient information and data.
Experts believe that effective health information management through the deployment of technology should be encouraged to save lives. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos. Do not forget that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. We'll take a break. Elizabeth will continue with the news.
Helps reduce appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiance and Beauty Advanced Care for your shade of beautiful.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do business, and our busy businessman, Benny Adams, has some trending business reports for us. Benny?
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to business. The Debt Management Office, DMO, says the securitization of CBN's 22.7 trillion ways and means advances to the federal government will improve debt transparency. DMO's Director General Patience Onia on Friday explained that securitization would allow the inclusion of the ways and means advances in public debt statistics. She adds that it will reduce the debt service cost as the new interest rate is 9% per annum, while the monetary policy rate of the CBN is 21% per annum. Ways and means advances allows the federal government to borrow short-term or emergency loans from the CBN to cushion affected or expected cash receipts shortfalls. This is as the federal government promised to repay already collected short-term loans with securities like treasury bills and the issuance of bonds. And European markets close higher as Asia markets mix. Nekauko has more on the markets globally.
Asia-Pacific markets were mixed this Friday as banking fears were reignited on Wall Street, sending the three major U.S. indices into a four-day loser streak. Hong Kong's Hang Index rose 0.5%, leading gains in the region, while markets in Japan were closed for a holiday. Stocks climbed in the European region as investors continued to assess the trajectory of monetary policy. The DAX gained 0.76%. UK's FTSE rose 0.47%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 0.42%, while S&P 500 futures topped 0.5%. In Africa, stocks traded in mixed territory. Namibia's overall index led gains in early trade at 1.65%, followed by the JSE Africa Top 40, which rose 1.02%, while the tune index in Tunisia was the relative underperformer.
Gains Friday as investor confidence remains in the market, with banking stocks the most sought after. At the close of business this Friday, the all-share index climbed to 52,466.52 basis points. Total volume of trades stood at 482 million, valued at 5.641 billion naira in 5,298 deals. Equity capitalization ended the session at 28.5 trillion naira. Access Bank, UBA, and Fidelity Bank topped the activity chart. That is business news. Network news continues with Elizabeth. Elizabeth, it's nice doing business with you.
Nice doing business with you too, Benny. Kano State government has constructed dozens of roads to ease vehicular movement and boost economic activities in the commercial city. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje stated this while inaugurating some of the completed road projects. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
Not only for the name, Ahmadu Bello Way is an important road that links up Kano Government House with important places in the state capital. Along the road are foreign missions including the Royal Consulate General of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. At the cost of 1.2 billion naira, the road undergone total rehabilitation by the state government following its dilapidation.
This road was constructed more than 100 years ago, and before we decided to rebuild this road, it was terribly bad.
Also inaugurated are the nearby Gashash Road as well as Sheikh Mahmoud Salga and Kwaring Akuya roads in Dala and Fagi local government areas.
We decided to remind the people of this area that the road that we have reconstructed has been completed and they have been putting it into use.
Sheikh Mahmoud Salga Road is one of the projects inherited by the Ganduje administration in 2015. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Professor Umar Adam Katsayel as the Vice-Chancellor of Federal University of Transportation, Dara Katsina State. The appointment is by virtue of the power conferred on him by the Federal University of Transport, Dara Act 22, Part 1, Section 3, Subsection 6. The term is for 5 years and takes effect immediately. Let's take our last break. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have informed, educated, and entertained us when you needed information, knowledge, or an escape.
From generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be recognized.
Come May 17th this year, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather at a hotel and suites for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and excellence in the broadcast media. Voting starts on 20th April and ends on 4th May 2023. Visit www.tnbawards.ng to vote now. They've served and they're still serving. It's time we say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, Bonn.
In the heat of the summer, downfall buses feel like extremely hot ovens. How do I cope with this heat?
And how do I cope with that bad odor?
By staying 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on hot days, the sweating and the odor are more. That's why you need to get the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which offers up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation and protects you from 99.9% odor-causing germs.
Did you know that a quarter of the world's deaths from malaria is in Nigeria? And the reason being a mosquito that spreads malaria, a disease that puts everyone's life in distress. We believe that protection and prevention is the best cure in the fight to end malaria. Morphine insecticide with its improved formulation kills 100% mosquitoes that spread malaria. So, spread the message of how we can fight to end malaria with Morphine. Morphine, our #1 choice.
Bye, Mom.
He's going to play in this weather. Why did you let him go? He might fall ill.
And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with Germ Defense gives you protection. Rainy season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's Germ Defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian.
Thanks for staying. The death has occurred of the doyen of medical profession in northern Nigeria, Dr. Michael Olarinloye Shona, after a brief illness. He was aged 95. Dr. Shona, who hailed from Ijabu, Kwara State, was among the first set of Gabon College, Kefi, and a pioneer of the famous Kano Medical School, established by the late Premier of the Northern Region, Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sultan of Sokoto. Dr. Shona served as a medical officer of health in charge of general hospitals in Kafanchan, Jos, Birnin Kebbi, Kanji, Bama and Ngoro. Following the creation of states in 1967, he was transferred to Ilorin to head the General Hospital. From here, he retired from civil service. He survived by 5 children and his late wife, Deaconess Josephine Shono, and many grandchildren. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Elizabeth Omori.
NTA, you can't do it. Information is power. Everyone wants power. To feel powerful with the NTA News Model app, the one-stop information center, real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News Model app, your access to real-time information.